Magazine.
Hello, once again, I'm your host, Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and theatrical horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts, Jeff Moore, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, Christopher G. Moore, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we are very happy to be counting down our top 10 most anticipated horror movies of 2024. That's a mouthful.
Yes.
Well, let me introduce my crew before we get into things, starting off with Crystal Cleveland the Livin6dead girl. How you doing?
What's up? I am doing fabulous. I'm excited to talk about upcoming horror. We need some new stuff to
It's
love, whatever, you know.
It's a stacked year, so it's going to be hard to choose which 10 we're going to talk about, but here we go. Also joining us is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Moore.
I'm here for the anticipation.
Nice. Didn't work last year.
I'm not even a big fan of Rocky Horror, and I did that just for you.
Oh, I am.
I am too. I'm going to watch it after this.
There you go.
I'm not.
All right, let's welcome our guest host, Bryan W. Smith. He's a screenwriter and film judge at the New York City Horror Film Festival. Bryan, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me again. We just wrapped up both New York City Horror and Christmas, so this is that nice little week where I have rest, and then it's back at it.
Yeah, New Year's, and then start watching all the films again, right? So
exactly.
All right. Well, what we're going to do tonight is each of us is going to share our top 10 most anticipated horror films of the year. Might be an honorable mention or two in the list, and then we'll just chat about it at the end and have a good time and get real excited about 2024. There's a ton of stuff coming out. It'll be interesting to see how much crossover we have. There'll be a few, but I imagine there'll be a surprise or two in these lists. Of course, we hope you enjoy this episode and many other episodes that we have on the channel. If you do, please hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend buttons. They're easy and free to do, and each click helps us find more horror fans just like you. All right. There's no card tonight. We usually do a card because we're reviewing something. We just get straight into it. So Bryan W. Smith, what is your most anticipated? Oh, that's funny. Most anticipated horror films. He's just a chin on top of our heads.
Well, actually, I'm probably too low.
Go for it, Bryan.
Okay. In no particular order, I have. Let's see. We got Night Swim. Pretty interested, intriguing trailer. I mean, the first trailer was interesting. It was a bit of a. If you know, there's a short film that's out that this is the feature version of, and the main trailer that came out was pretty bonkers, pretty crazy. I'm interested to see it. I believe it's Blumhouse. There's the Untitled, as of now, I guess, Radio Silence Universal monster movie. Looking forward to anything that they do. I like Radio Silence. I've always been a fan of theirs. Quiet Place Day One, that added to my list. Again, these are things that we're not. I don't know if it's still TBD or if it's still coming out next year, but I have a placeholder for it. So Smile 2, I was a big fan of Smile, and it's interesting to see Parker Finn where he goes with the next installment of this. I've been a fan of his work since we've screened his work at New York City Horror, and so he's just been taken off with Paramount. So eager to see what he does next. Speak No Evil, the remake, I believe. Oh yeah. I need to see the original, so I'm going to see this is giving me the incentive to watch the original first, because I've heard really great things about it, and I've avoided any and all spoilers. I've heard it's pretty crazy. I'm not sure what to expect, so I'm just going to go in completely fresh and see that, and then see the remake and make my judgment then. Of course, Terrifier 3. I'm interested to see where Damien Leone takes Art the Clown and his cast. There's the remaining body parts of his cast, I guess. I've been a fan of his since I really enjoyed the original short film years back, and that I think it was put into like one of the anthology films. So just interested to see what he's been. Yeah, All Hallows Eve, and it's interesting to see what he does. Love it or hate it, or if it's not your style, you don't have to watch it. But he's putting it out there, and we're horror fans, so we watch everything. I'm intrigued about Wolfman. I've been waiting for like a good werewolf movie. It feels like it's been a while. A lot of werewolf movies that won't go named have been metaphorical werewolf movies, and I'm a little tired of that. I would like I just want a straight up werewolf movie. So I hear Wolfman's coming out with Christopher Abbott replacing Ryan Gosling and Lee Winnell writing directing. That sounds like a winning combination. I think Christopher Abbott has that sort of sympathetic Lon Chaney look to him. If they're going to go that route or go do something completely different in the Invisible Man vein, either way, I'm intrigued. I want to check it out and see what it's all about. And of course, sticking with the monsters, Nosferatu. I think it's going to be an interesting take on the story. I mean, we kind of know the story. We've just had like the Last Voyage of Demeter, so I'm all for like the return of vampires on screen. They haven't been doing very well on the big screen lately, but it's Eggers, right? Robert Eggers behind this one. Mm-hmm. He takes his work pretty seriously, and I've seen some imagery that looks pretty striking, so I'm there for it. I will throw in Beetlejuice 2 just out of curiosity. I don't have the highest of hopes for it. I think it had its time. I think there's a lot of changes that have happened over the years that may not necessarily work with it, but I'm curious. I mean, Tim Burton's had some success recently with Wednesday, and it's always cool to see him return to comedy. I think he has that in him. I think he has another good comedy in him from those early days, but there was a time where he just sort of, his work got kind of wonky. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then I just recently only heard about it was Destroy All Neighbors with, I believe it's, I think Alex Winter's in it. And I've seen like some behind the scenes effects and some makeup effects, and it looks pretty interesting. I think my honorable mentions, if and when they ever do come out, I'm still waiting to see that Salem's Lot. I think it's going streaming. That was the last I heard. So I'll definitely be checking that first day when it comes out. Toxic Avenger. I'm just curious to see what they do with that. The original is such a, dare I say, classic, but a classic of
in its own way. In its own way,
But I grew up with it, and I have it memorized. I have every like music cue in my head. I've seen it that many times. I used to just rewind it and watch it over and over. So I'm interested to see what they do with it. If it's going to be this new and different, gorier, bloodier movie, we'll see what happens. They Follow. That was just announced. The sequel to It Follows. And following the grammatical sequence, I suppose it should be interesting. Max 16.
Oh, Maxine.
Yeah. I think my impression of what I'm getting from it is going to be like an 80s giallo. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that.
Yes.
They're being very everyone's. I feel like a lot of films are not really giving away too much of their storylines, or at least their log line. You just have to sort of get an impression from photos and things. But I'm just based off of what Ty West has been giving us and his understanding of genre and genres past. I think he's going to give us something pretty interesting, something colorful and bloody and gruesome, so and stylish. So I'm looking forward to that. And Shelby Oaks is on my list as well. I watched Chris Stuckman's videos, his reviews. I used to sort of pit him against like Jeremy Johns. Like I watch both of their reviews just to see their different perspectives. So it'll be interesting to see Shelby Oaks and what Chris does behind the camera as a filmmaker. And I think that's pretty much it. A lot of the other films are sort of TBD, not really sure. I'll have to judge when the trailers come out and when announcements are made. But right now, it's my 2024 is going to be like catching up on things that I missed this year. Especially watching Speak No Evil, the original, and then just waiting to see what happens with all of these other films that I've listed. I mean, anything can change, anything can happen, so we'll see.
Excellent choice. Wow, that made my head spin. All right, Christopher G. Moore, you're up next. What is your most anticipated horror movies of 2024?
Okay, well, I actually did mine in order.
Okay, I'll do mine in order too.
Number 10, Universal Monster movie by Radio Silence. I think
nice.
I loved Ready or Not, and I loved that they did the Scream 5, not so much Scream 6, but I'm kind of interested in them seeing them attack like a Universal Monster movie, and because we don't have a lot of elements, I'm sure they're gonna probably put some new spin on it. So I'm kind of really excited about that. Number 9. I'm a huge fan of the Witchboard movie from the 80s.
Yes!
Oh,
Starring
nice.
Tawny Katane.
Yes, thank you.
I absolutely love that film. I think
Yay! Me too.
it's
It's
an
on my list.
underrated classic and actually has some pretty good scares when I was growing up. So I'm kind of interested to see a Witchbar movie being directed by Chuck Russell, who did The Blob and Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which, you know, I'm a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street. So I'm kind of interested to see what he does with his spin on it. So I'm kind of interested to see what a remake of that would be. Although I love the original. Well, the original is like one of my favorite 80s movies. Number 8, The Wolfman. Now that Lee Winnell is attached, I'm really excited because I think what he did with The Invisible Man is even better than what you could expect with an Invisible Man movie. So him attached to that, my only concern is how CGI they're going to do it. So I would prefer them to do some practical effects. And as someone who's written my own little werewolf story, I'm always excited to see another werewolf movie being made because that's going to help me later on with mine. Mine getting out there. So anyway, I'm excited what he does with that. Number 7. This is my big indie movie, How to Kill Monsters. I haven't been able to see it. It screened at New York City Horror Film Festival and won an award for effects. So I'm really excited to seeing this as someone who was a big fan and a big owns a copy of Book of Monsters. Their previous directed by Stuart Spark, starring Lindsay Crane and Michaela Longden, who I met actually in New York City. So I'm excited to see this because you can see their love for 80s horror and practical effects, and also the horror comedy stuff as well. So they make the type of films that I want to make. So I'm excited to see that. Number 6, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I'm excited to see what they do with Ghostbusters telling a different type of story instead of it being like the Lego sequel where you have to connect back. I think the Ghostbusters Afterlife was almost like the Force Awakens of the Ghostbusters universe. You know,
Nice.
we even brought back the villain and stuff. And I think here having a totally new villain and a totally new way of fighting and stuff, and also bringing some of the originals in there as well. So I'm excited to see what they do with that because that's the first time I was like, this is the first time I've actually scared for people in the Ghostbusters universe because I was like, did all these people on the beach die in that trailer? Because they kind of hinted at it because everybody's free, you know. So anyway, I'm kind of excited to see that because it feels like they're bringing the terror back to it a little bit. Number 5, you know, I was a fan of the first 2, and even though we're not sure if it's going to come out, Maxine. I loved X. I loved Pearl even more. And I think the most interesting part of this is I think each era that he does these movies, it's almost like a different type of movie. The first one is almost like the slasher Texas Chainsaw. The second one was almost like the Psycho. And this one is almost like the 80s giallo, like Brian said, of that universe. So I'm kind of excited to see what they do with it. It may even be more of a whodunit type thing. I don't know. We don't even know, but I'm excited about it. And also it's 80s. So you've already taken my money with it being 80s because I'm a sucker for it. Number 4, Alien Romulus.
Yep.
Nice.
I am really excited to see, even though I think Fede Alverez's stuff, a lot of his stuff is a little too tortury, I guess. I think that might fit a little bit better with the Alien universe. And hearing the Ridley Scott saying that he effing loved it. So it kind of makes me kind of excited because normally he talks crap about other people making stuff like Blade Runner and other things. So him to actually celebrate it makes me kind of interested to see what he liked in it. So I'm actually kind of seeing that because I think, you know, we need more alien type stuff in this world with really talented filmmakers making it. Number 3, hopefully it won't be so bogged down in the era it's taking place in, but Nosferatu, as much as I love his previous stuff, a lot of times he gets so integrated in the dialogue of the time. I have to like, a lot of time I don't understand what they're saying, you know, whether it's Lighthouse or even Witch and stuff like that. But I think this is the first time where I think his artistry is telling stories within specific eras. And then the cast, you know, we with Skarsgård actually being able to embody another horror character and maybe putting his spin on it. So I'm really excited to sort of also have that return to that sort of original Nosferatu character that we remember from the silent films and stuff, and seeing his take on it. Because this got such an amazing cast in it. Defoe as well, returning to work with Eggers. Number 2, I'm a Tim Burton fan. So,
good. Yeah, me too.
Beetlejuice 2.
Yep.
They've, for those people that are worried about Tim Burton, he's mentioned that like this, he felt like a little kid making this film. He felt like a return to a lot of the films that started his career. And I think Wednesday kind of opened that up to him. And I think this, I'm really excited about, because you got like Ryder, Keaton, and O'Hara returning in their roles. And then you also got, Jenna Ortega. You got Monica Bellucci playing Beetlejuice's wife. So where's that going to go?
Fabulous.
Even Willem Dafoe, again, another movie on my list. Willem Dafoe playing a guy who died, who is I think he's an actor who played cops or something. So I don't know. There's like so many interesting elements. I think that as someone that I think Beetlejuice is, it's such a brilliant movie for it to be so comedic and over the top in parts, but for it to have that morbid sense of humor about it, I think it'd be interesting to see more contemporary take on some of that stuff with new characters and stuff. So I'm really excited about it. And also just seeing Michael Keaton return to that role, he's going to have a lot of fun playing that part again. And number 1, if you look at my list of people I have crushes on, Anya Taylor's Joy is one of those. Furiosa, the new Mad Max film. As someone that loved Fury Road, and to see a guy who I think he was in his 70s when he directed that, it just gave me hope as somebody who's not really a spring chicken anymore, to make badass movies when I get older. So to make something that I think even directors in their 20s probably couldn't pull off, and to have that kinetic energy, and just to also have some really cool roles. I mean, what's his name from Thor is playing a bad guy who's barely recognized with a fake nose and everything. So I don't know, just to return to that universe, which is really hugely world building. And it's such a crazy, I know that's probably more sci-fi actiony, but it still has that horror element as well with the crazy world.
Apocalyptic future, that's horror.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, honorable mentions, I just want to say real quick, Dust Bunny almost made my top 10, mainly because of that combination of Bryan Fuller and Mads Mikkelsen working together, who work so well together on the Hannibal TV show. So I'm kind of interested to see what Bryan Fuller does with his I guess his directorial debut with a feature, right? Let's see, Salem's Lot, kind of interesting to see with that. Someone who's a huge fan of Stephen King stuff, so just sort of see another take on that. They haven't really done a really good one. Although I'm not sure if it'll ever be on that level of that kid floating around that window that creeped me out for the longest time. I was like, if my brother does that, I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm kind of interested to see what Trap, just to see what M. Night does.
Shyamalan,
he's a little hit or miss. So again, you never know. But at the same, Knock at the Cabin, I think I really like that. So I'm looking at that. Toxic Avenger. Just that cast is so ridiculous for something that's based on a really extremely low budget original film that's not exactly PC. So I'm kind of interested to see all these crazy elements thrown together. It may not be good, but at least it'll be sort of like a train wreck of some type. Just with all the I don't know, just the amount of Elijah Wood and
I love Elijah Wood.
And what's his name from Game of Thrones? I mean, it's like
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage. I mean, as the Toxic Avenger, I don't know. It's just those things don't you never put all those things together in the same movie. They Follow, kind of interesting to see. I'm not sure where they can go with that original one, but I think there's potential. And last but not least, just to pimp my own shit, worst laid plans. When it
Yes.
gets-
Yes.
I'm just anticipating for it to release, so maybe I can make some money off of it for once. But again, that's more of a financial anticipation.
Get your Happy Meal, right?
yeah, exactly. I'll be able to go to Taco Bell twice.
Yeah, twice.
I don't know. With the cost of Taco Bell now, like mind blown.
It's only
Seriously.
use the app, $5 meal, my friend.
Okay. Maybe
Don't be
that's what I need
talking
to
about
do.
money to me when it comes to Taco Bell. I got a $50 Taco Bell gift card for Christmas, and it'll last me probably
a week.
So Christopher's taking us all to dinner now.
Yes.
no,
Taco Bell, not a sponsor.
just for me.
He's like, no. Okay.
your own.
So
Crystal, let us have it.
I'm gonna start off with my honorable mentions. Toxic Avengers, of course, because that's gonna be awesome. I bet you that should be higher on my list, but I don't know. Like, these things are so hit and miss. But I don't think there's been a single movie of Elijah Wood's that I've seen that I didn't like, because I love him. He's fabulous. The Watchers. So speaking of Shyamalan, his daughter, I am really rooting for her with this one, because she's a female. Not that that matters. Oh, y'all leave comments for, oh God, it's got to be a girl. No, I just think that she could really probably bring something really cool. Like, Shyamalan used to be one of my top directors of all time, and he just started to fall. And maybe there just needs to be some fresh blood, literally. And Witchboard.
Witchboard.
I am told I picked Witchboard for us to do for Decades of Horror 80s, which was just a few weeks ago. So, like, I do love Tawny Katane. I do love that movie, and I think that I think it's time for it to be remade, though. I mean, I think it's time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, number 10, I will go with The Return to Silent Hill. I am a gamer. I like the games, and I actually enjoyed the Silent Hill movies. I think that, are they great? Both of them? Maybe not. Maybe they have some issues, but I like the visuals and I like the feel of the films. They're so bleak, and
the sound.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, look, you see Pyramid Head like everywhere. You see those nurses everywhere. It always creates some really cool imagery. So that's what I'm hoping, at least from that one. 9, Nosferatu, which everyone's gonna have Nosferatu on their list. I was honestly a little bit concerned with Lily Rose Depp with the whole icon thing, because that was just a travesty and just a turd.
Horrible.
But I don't think I don't think she was the problem. So I think that part right there is solved for me. So I'm okay. So now, number 8 is the First Omen. Oh my God. I love the Omen.
Oh, wow. That's a surprise.
Yeah. Really? I love it. Supernatural religious horrors, like, my favorite. That's my favorite. That's my number 1, other than your nun crap. That's not good. That's not good. Okay. But yeah, it's all for you, Damien. Come on, that is so good. Number 7 might be a little odd for some of y'all. It's Founders Day, and I will tell you why, because it is directed by Eric Blomquist, who to me is one of the finest directors around at directing actors and getting good performances out of actors. If you don't know him, he directed She Came from the Woods and Night at Something Inn. And while they might not have been the most well-known or best movies, the performances were phenomenal. And then it's just a simple slasher. It kind of, looking at it did kind of give me Thanksgiving vibes in a way too. So I know, and I believe that the performances will be amazing, because he's really good. He picks people that are not really even known, which is very smart, because he picks them based on talent, as opposed to like, oh, you're going to get my movie scene. No, that's not really the way it works. Pick someone with talent. Okay. Number 6 is Beetlejuice 2. I love Tim Burton. Like, people can pick on Tim Burton stuff, but I don't think there's a single Tim Burton film or show I have seen that I did not have a great time with. So I have no reason to believe otherwise on this. I guarantee you I will like it. I guarantee you there'll be some silly little song and dance in there that I will be sung and dancing with right along to it. And yes, it is all good. Number 5 is Saw 11. I like Saw. I loved Saw 10 a lot. And I'm really interested to see where they go with this. I'm like, are they going to stay with John? Are they going to go with Costas? What are they going to do? I don't know. I don't care. I mean, I think Saw movies are just, they're not changing the landscape of horror, but they're a good, solid horror film for me. Like every time I watch one, I'm like, yeah. Okay. 4, Wolfman, because come on. It's Wolfman. Like,
Wolfman.
Like, who doesn't like? I love werewolf films, and we haven't had a good. I mean, honestly, I think the best and most outstanding, wolves I've seen, or like Ginger Snaps, and like I would love to see a really good werewolf film. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna quite go to that level, but it's a start, I suppose. 3, Maxine. Because Mia Goth. So oddly enough, I did not like Infinity Pool, and I didn't like her in Infinity Pool. She went a little too far for me, and I think she was playing on that. But I love her as an actress, and I think that in this role in particular, she shines. So I think obviously it's going to be good. I mean, they had a plan, and it shows. So that's important. Number 2. Terrifier 3, because I am a gore whore. I love gore, and I don't mind aggressive, angry gore. I don't mind it at all. I know, Christopher. I know, but I dig it. Damien Leone is very clever, and I have a feeling this is going to be. It's going to be good. I know it. He's far too talented to make something that's going to be trash. And number 1, speaking of gore, Alien Romulus. Yes. The Alien films are epic, and like it's been so long, right? Like I feel like I don't like to get too excited about movies because then I'm always disappointed, but I do know the girl that the lead actress said, I think this was in between Alien and Alien 2 or between 2 and 3. I can't remember. She did give away the timeline though of this.
Between Alien and Aliens. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's going to be so good, y'all. I hope so. I hope so. I'm going to be disappointed. My expectations are too high. It's yeah, there's nowhere to go but down.
No. That's
why you're so judgmental.
Yeah.
No.
What are you doing, Jay?
Don't do it. All right. I'm going to follow Crystal's lead. I'm going to give my honorable mentions first because they've all been mentioned. How to Kill Monsters, Christopher. I'm looking forward to that as well. It's still in the festival circuit. It's got a couple more festivals, but hopefully it'll end up in our on our screens somewhere, either big or large, or small or large, rather, on this year. I'm sure it will. Looking forward to it. Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, of course. I left it in my honorable mentions because of what Christopher said, that, hey, it's kind of sci-fi, but I still wanted to give it some props.
I think it's fair. Yeah.
Yep. And Beetlejuice 2 is in my honorable mentions. Yeah, I mean, the cast, Tim Burton coming back with Michael Keaton, having Jenna Ortega in it, Winona Ryder's returning. Justin Theroux's going to be in it as well, and Willem Dafoe.
Oh, yes, I forgot. God, it's going to be so
very, very interesting. All right, so, and there's plenty others to talk about, but we'll get to those in a minute. So now let's do my 10, starting with number 10, and that's the Untitled Universal Monster movie from Radio Silence. The cast includes Dan Stevens, Catherine Newton, Kevin Durant, Melissa Barrera. We don't know anything about it. It's supposed to come out in April. The only reason it's down so low is because I want to give it a title, and I'll give it a higher score. Let us know something. Rumor was at first that it was going to be a take on Dracula's Daughter, but they reeled that back in. So who knows? Regardless, I love the directors, and the cast is excellent, and it's a Universal film. It's just checking a lot of boxes. So I'm eager for it. And I really wanted to put it higher on my list, but I can't put something untitled higher on my list.
Yeah,
Can't do it. I almost didn't even put it on the list, but it's a Universal monster movie. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Number 9 is Maxine, Ty West, the third film in his trilogy with Mia Goth. The cast also has Michelle Monaghan, Elizabeth Debicki, Kevin Bacon, Lily Collins, Giancarlo Esposito, Bobby Cannavale, and Halsey. I guess they're all victims, I would imagine. It's A24. It's the only A24 on my list this year.
Oh.
So
That's
there you go. No.
Well, we never called you an A24 humper. So.
Never was. But
A20 whore.
Oh, yes. Okay, I got to remember that. Mm-hmm.
At number 8 is Dust Bunny. Bryan Fuller, Mads Mikkelsen is a pair that I just can't ignore. It also has Sigourney Weaver and David Dashmalchian. Am I close? 8-year-old girl asks a scheming neighbor to help in killing a monster under her bed that she thinks ate her family. Come on. That's a winning plot. I'm looking forward to it. Now it just needs to be dated somewhere and to the theaters, not to streaming. It needs to go to theaters.
Oh, I don't know. I love streaming. Bring it.
All right. Number 7 is Wolfman from Blumhouse and Universal Pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Lee Whannell and Christopher Abbott, and it's just another telling of the Wolfman story in some fashion. They have not released anything about it. It's dated for October. I hope it makes it, and I hope they use practical effects in some fashion.
I'm sure partially.
Yeah. But it's another Universal monster movie. I just by default.
And Blumhouse.
And Blumhouse, yeah, Blumhouse.
Yeah,
have it. Number 6, Nosferatu. Yes, Nosferatu. The cast, you mentioned a few of them. Bill Skarsgård, as Nosferatu. Willem Dafoe, Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Emma Corrin, and Ralph Ineson, of course. He's in all the films in some fashion, right? Really curious way it does it. It's not coming out until December. It's coming out on Christmas Day. So it'll be perfect. a long year for us to wait. So at number 5, I'm probably the only one ever that's going to put this on any list. But I have hopes. High hopes. Imaginary from Blumhouse and Lionsgate. Directed by Jeff Wadlow and Thomas Paine, DeWanda Wise, and Betty Buckley.
You put it at 5.
I put it 5. It was originally it was higher.
Whoa!
Wow.
How old are you, Doc? Like, are you 12? Are you 12? Are you secretly 12? I'm just kidding.
I never said
bad.
Never said I grew
up. I'm just
might be a nice double feature with If.
It's another Blumhumper.
But it is a Blumhouse, but it is the highest Blumhouse film. So. At number 4, Terrifier 3.
Yay!
I don't know. Did you mention that it was going to be set during Christmas?
I did not.
Oh,
and there's so much drama surrounding it, but I think that is not happening. What people think is happening.
No. But I don't know what else needs to be said. I'm just looking forward to see it. I really enjoyed the second one. It was a little long, granted.
This one's shorter. The third one's going to be shorter. So.
But I like the introduction of the young clown girl, and she's in it again as well.
Yeah,
so
she's creepy. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she is creepy. So I'm curious what's going to happen there. And of course, it left us on that weird cliffhanger too. So who knows? At number 3, Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. I tell you, there's one scene in the trailer. I mean, I like the trailer a lot, but there was one scene that kind of sold it for me 100%, and that was Paul Rudd just on the roof going, "Oh, yeah." The creature coming, the snow creature coming out of the lights or whatever. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's got all the new and the old characters together. It's it's using the established location. Even William Atherton is coming back. Yes, the man has no dick.
Oh, I didn't know
coming
that
back.
part.
He's coming back. Annie Potts, Ernie Hudson, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd.
Oh wow!
Back. The original cast: McKenna Grace, Finn Wolfhard, Celeste O'Connor, Carrie Coon, Paul Rudd. We get Pat. Did I say Patton Oswalt is in it? And Kumail Nanjiani. Did I say that right? That's maybe I slurred it, but I got it. But I'm looking forward to it. The ice monster idea seems really cool, and like Christopher said, looks like there's gonna be some carnage.
Does William Atherton's character, does he still have no dick?
Yes, he's still. This man still has no dick.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Why would you? I mean, unless he borrowed one.
Maybe he'll grow an ice one. Anyway,
that'd be cold.
Yes. Happy birthday.
What are we talking about? The Gypsy Man? I mean, like some ice. Shannon.
I'm sorry I took us on that weird.
What do I do with that? What do I do with that?
I don't know. I just love that line from Ghostbusters. Like, yes, man, that has no dick.
Yes. Number 2. I think I'm the only one that's got this on any list, and it's just a favorite. But it's Godzilla X Kong New Empire. Need I say more? I love kaiju films. The past year. This past 2023 has given me high hopes for Godzilla movies, and it's got the Scar King looks like it's going to be a lot of fun as an adversary, and for them to team up, even though I've never seen Godzilla run that way, but he's done weird things. He flies backwards with his tail between his legs. So if he can do that, he can run alongside King Kong, or just Kong. I guess he's not king yet. But, and then at number 1, and I'm happy this made a lot of people's list. The only downside is that I think it's going straight to Hulu. It better go to the theaters. But it's Alien Romulus with Fede Alverez directing. It's
that's gotta go to the theater. No way.
You would think, right? You would think, but Hulu has been kind of a turd with their films not getting them into the theaters.
I would be shocked. That one. Okay, look, you know how I feel about the theater, but that one needs
to be right.
It does. But isn't there also like an Alien series that's being made as well right now?
There is. There's an Alien series being made as well.
Why would you want to?
Yeah. What?
Who knows? Who knows? But of course, it's now a Disney property, so Hulu, which means it's going to be on Disney Plus. Weird.
Hopefully, they'll have woodland creatures singing.
Yeah, you will. Oh, yes, it's going to be yeah. I could make a Cinderella joke, but I won't. Or not Cinderella, but Snow White, right? Snow White joke. You ruined the joke by ruining the wrong person. But hey, whatever.
Hey,
oh my God. Snow White. That's going to be a huge disaster, but that's a different podcast. There are plenty of other films that we can mention. Some of them I'm just going to throw at everybody. I just want to hear what they think. You mentioned Night Swim. I'm happy you did that, Brian. That almost got in there. Anybody looking forward to the ISS film where they're in the space station and they look down and they see World War III happening, and then they're told to take the station by force?
I feel like it's too close to home right now.
Yeah, well, maybe.
I don't want to think about that possibility.
Maybe. Oh my gosh. We didn't mention Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
I've lost track of it.
I think that's kind of what a lot of people have done.
You know, I actually own the other films on Blu-ray, and I've never watched any of them.
Oh, really? The first one was really good. The first one was really good, and then I don't remember any of the others, and now I've lost because there aren't any numerals in the titles. I don't know which one is. I
do like the fact that we're sort of like the humans are like the humans from like what's his name's world, where they're like feral and.
Yep, it's supposed to be a few decades or more in the future. So
the whole damn dirty ape line and stuff that we know and love feels like in that universe.
It feels like it's heading toward that scene, doesn't it? But we'll see. I just wanted to mention Watchers again real quick because you mentioned Shyamalan's daughter is directing it. She also directed a number of episodes of Servant, which was on Apple Plus, which was a really interesting, creepy show, and she did a great job there. and the actress, unfortunately, whose
Mel
name,
Tiger Free.
yeah, is going to be in
First
your
Omen.
First Omen. Yep. So there's a
And
connection
Bill
there.
Nye as well.
Yep.
Which I love Bill Nye.
There's The Crow's getting a remake with Bill Skarsgård again.
But I don't think that's coming out this year.
It may or may not. It's TBD. So
yeah, I don't think that's why I didn't put any of that stuff in, because some of it's, I mean, with everything just getting pushed back, it's like
some of it's may, some of it's may not. Yeah. Another one in that category is Thread, The Insidious Tale, which may or may not make it out this year. Supposedly, if you read the article from Variety, the remake of Blackula is supposed to come out in October. But
what?
Yes.
Whoa,
my God!
Who's part of that?
And then, of course, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein starts filming in February. I think is it supposed to be for Netflix? But I don't know when it's coming out.
I'm
not sure.
Is Blackula? That's amazing.
I mean, if it was more concrete with Del Toro's, that probably would be my top of my list.
Yeah.
Because I think with that project, that is a project that made him fall in love with movies, and is a project he's been wanting to make for so long. He already made his version of The Creature from the Black Lagoon. So just to see him be able to attack that story and tell his own version of it, I think is going to be amazing, at least in my opinion.
Yes, definitely.
It's also got Oscar Isaac in it, I think, if I remember.
Oh yeah, Oscar.
Oh yeah.
It's got a few really great actors in it. So
he's the only one I care about.
All right. I know it's all about your thirst.
Yeah, Dion Taylor is supposed to be directing the Blackula. Dion Taylor is supposed to be directing the Blackula film.
Is that supposed to be a parody?
No, it's supposed to follow up.
Good.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I've seen what he's directed before, and I'm trying to get it real quick. But I'm not getting there real fast. Burp.
You know what else looks good? Cuckoo. But Tillman Singer is directing this one called Cuckoo, and he directed Loose. Do you remember Loose? We all really liked Loose. It's like a Spanish-based film. I think it's going to be a sleeper one for this year. Just watch. It's going to be excellent.
Yep, and that's one thing. We don't know a whole lot of the foreign films yet that are on our way. Let's just put it this way.
This one isn't foreign, though.
Oh, I'm segging. So,
but like this is gonna be like even though he is a foreign director, this is this is a lot of American actors. Like I think this might be his first real bit, decent size American production. But Loose was excellent. You love Loose too, I believe, Christopher.
Loose?
L-U-Z. You remember it.
L-U-Z.
You were there.
And of course, I'm surprised Crystal Cleveland didn't put this on her list, but Winnie the Pooh Blood Honey 2 is on her way.
By the way, I just remembered another reason that I'm looking forward to Del Toro's Frankenstein is because it stars Mia Goth. So there's
there you go.
So there's the woman I'll be thirsting after. And
wait, did Brian put Smile 2 on his list, right? And he's the only one?
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't like Smile. I thought it was
I enjoyed Smile. I
was surprised more of y'all didn't like it because people love it. I'm a weirdo. I get it.
I enjoyed it. I think some people got because it's very
I mean it cherry picks
heavy.
It cherry picks from other films, but it does it in a way where the director or the writer knows knows what they're doing. Yeah, it's like that book, Still Like an Artist, He knows what he's doing, but I think unless you really know it.
Everything is derivative. It's
right.
It's got a lot of memorable parts in it, though.
Yeah.
Brian, I do have a question for you because you didn't put yours in order, and but out of
I know I always feel bad about that afterwards. I'm like, I could have followed some sort of
But out of the 10,
but the thing is, a lot of these films, I'm pretty hit or miss. A lot of these films are already like hit or miss for me, so I'm just like they may all suck. But so I don't really have an order.
If you look at our past list, they often do. But my question to you is, out of the 10 that you chose, which one is your most anticipated? On the spot, ladies and gentlemen.
I know. I would say Wolfman. I'm a big werewolf fan.
Oh, nice.
And I've been burned by the last few really, like, seriously, the last few werewolf movies that have come out have all been more metaphorical. And so I've had to sort of go back to 1981. It was a very good year of American Werewolf and The Howling, where I just want werewolves killing people, and I don't need the metaphor. Just give me a werewolf.
Oh, wow.
Even Wolf didn't really do it for me. It was like, I
liked Wolf.
I was excited for it, but even that was like, he's middle aged. I get it. Now I'm middle aged. I should probably revisit.
Okay, so you know what? That could be something, because I was a kid. I was really young when I saw it, and I do remember thinking that Jack Nicholson was very sexy, and it had Michelle Pfeiffer, and I thought she was very sexy. So honestly, I couldn't have picked between either one. So hot.
I thought it was going to be scarier because the teaser trailer really got under my skin. It was, I don't know if you ever see that teaser trailer. It's done really well, but the way it was done, it was just like, oh, okay, it was a weird movie. It was more of an adult.
You got to think, back in the day, the lead actors, like he was also in Witches of Eastwick, and he's not.
God, he was so good in that.
George Miller film.
Yeah. So a lot of people, I think, nowadays probably wouldn't be able to pull those type of movies like they did back in the day. But yeah, Wolf,
we don't really have stars anymore. We have actors, but
I think
even Julia Roberts couldn't save that Netflix movie that's out. But we won't get on. We don't have to go into that.
Well, I think with Wolf, because they kind of scaled back some of the effects stuff
a lot.
Yeah, and I think that was more the actors didn't want to be in effects as much, so it kind of it just made them like running around like
in the slow motion fighting, and there was like a saxophone. And I was just like,
it was more comedic than
God,
scary.
I loved it. But I was too young.
I just can't wait for people to see my werewolf movie.
You know where to submit, because you know where to send.
Well, I'm going to actually be submitting my short script to a lot of film fests initially, so
very good.
But
very good,
because we need more good werewolf movies. I think people are just scared because of the effects budget,
a lot of money,
which is probably one of the reasons I will be making mine. Right.
Well, there are a few coming out this year. We'll see if they're all smaller budget ones. Oddly enough, I think
dust off one of my scripts.
There you go. All right. Well, there you go. There's our most anticipated horror films in 2024. A lot on the list. I think the amount of crossover wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be. I was actually very pleased with the number of films that we mentioned, and many more that are coming out. And of course, there's many more that we don't know about yet.
Those are usually the best ones.
I know. And that's usually why when you look back at the most anticipated, it's like, oh, that it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And often, like some of the highest ones don't even make it out. That's so good, so bad.
Well, I forgot to mention Return to Silent Hill. I'm kind of intrigued by it.
Mm-hmm.
I like elements of the original films, like that thing where Pyramid Head drips that woman's skin off.
Yep,
it's one of the most horrendous things I've ever seen in film.
Wonderful.
It's oh crap.
Christoph Gans is returning.
Yeah, but my problem has always been the actors. Some of the actors in that, like the woman that played the cop in the first one, was just horrible, and I couldn't get past the bat. So I just kept looking forward to the horror stuff that would happen. So I'm kind of interested when he does, and maybe he has a new perspective on it. And I think the horror still will be there. I think a lot of times the acting performances don't work for me, but maybe it's just me. But they do definitely recreate some of the stuff from the game. So because those games
really, I watch Silent Hill films for the look. Really, I like the look of it. It like that cold overtone. It's just really creepy. Yeah,
this episode is teaching me that there was a sequel. I only saw the first.
Sequels. It was a beautiful disaster. It was silly, stupid, but fun.
Yeah.
Same actress, Adam Mitchell, or she?
No, no. Well, sort of. I won't spoil.
Okay. All right.
There, of course, The Strangers is getting a remake from three of them, but we're only getting one from Rennie Harlan of all people.
I'd almost put that in audible mentions, but as someone that liked the first Strangers, I haven't even seen the sequel because I like the original so much, but I hate home invasion movies. So
I don't love them either. Like, other than Violent Night, that's my favorite home invasion film.
They're a little frustrating to me. Like the first one, I mean, I like the original trailer. Like I used to watch that over and over when the record skips and they're cutting to all the scary stuff. The movie itself, it is, it's like a 70s horror film. And then the second one, I won't talk too much about it, but it was okay. It was just a little frustrating in terms of like character, in terms of the characters and how they interact with the situation and how people end up getting killed. I'm just like, that's more of a writing situation where like, it doesn't take into consideration that, oh, this is going to go in front of an audience and you're just pissing us off, that kind of thing. I don't know. And just like, you don't have to make characters dumb or whatever. I don't know, whatever. That's my only little takeaway.
And I think Crystal and I are holding our breath for the next shark movie to be announced. So.
Oh, I'm down.
There's got to be one or two.
I don't care if it's bad. It's going to be good because it's
got to be one or two.
You know what I would like? I'd like to see a good like Kraken movie or like giant squid movie. I'm sure. Movie. Yeah, that'd be cool. But maybe it should be a kaiju film.
They tried it with The Beast that time. It was an NBC movie years back. Peter Benchley's The Beast. That was when I first learned. That was good. That was when I first learned how squid eat, and it's haunted me ever since. The beak. I didn't know they had a beak. There's a beak in the center of all that nightmare. I'm like, no, I don't know. They shred their meat.
We had a little bit of that in the Meg too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I have to check that out.
Sort of a Kraken.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Kraken light.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, leave your comments down below. Leave your list. What movie did we miss? There's so many that we could have overlooked. So, and of course, as soon as we wrap this up, another movie is going to be announced.
Oh, I'm sure.
That will be silly for not having included it. So this was as of recording, and of course, all the dates and the movies actually making it out during 2024 is subject to change. As each and every year something happens to shift movies around, and that no doubt will happen with many of these. But
the only one I'm certain of is Brian's Night Swim. That'll be out.
That's coming out.
That's January, right?
Yep, we'll be reviewing it in a few weeks. Right? Right.
I'm going to see a screener of it.
Right, Brian, you're going to review it. You put it on your list. You got to review it. All right. Christopher, Bryan, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
This was.
Have a good night. Good night. And Happy New Year, right?
Happy New Year. Yay. Happy New Year of wonderful horror. Yay.
Absolutely. All right. Let's say good night. Let's get out of here.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.